Well, in that regard, right now, we are joined by retired Colonel Sarah Saguna, the government spokesperson, to help us understand what exactly is going on in many different spaces of things. And we start off, Colonel, the issue between Kenya and Somalia. You said there is a committee that has been put in place to handle this tiff that we experience. So far, any progress?
Thank you very much for the question. The issue between Kenya and Somalia, I would request that it be left as it is because the Foreign Affairs is handling it, and I would suggest and even humbly request that we do not address it right now.
All right. Thank you for that update. Back to Locust, the second wave of it coming in quite strongly. What exactly is being done to contain the issue?
The government has been able to deploy various intervention measures to be able to contain the situation. The counties that have been invaded by locusts. Government has been able to deploy surveillance aircraft and even aircraft to be able to spray areas that have been infected. So there's a lot that is being done. In addition to the spray aircraft and surveillance aircraft, the government has been able to deploy ground teams to be able to spray the locusts. So indeed, there's a lot that is being done to ensure that the locusts do not necessarily invade other counties away from where they currently are.
Measures are especially for the people on the ground, because you're talking about what the government is doing overly and manpower also on the ground. But the issue of the people on the ground so far, can we quantify the damage caused by this second wave?
Right now, in terms of the damage that's been meted out to the people on the ground, remember this locust just invaded the country a couple of months ago, and it takes a bit of time to be able to undertake a complete assessment of what damage has been done. So there is effort being carried out to determine the extent to which these locusts have been able to eat the farmland and even the green vegetation. So I cannot be able to right now tell you exactly what amount of farmlands have been destroyed, but certainly that once that assessment is completed, then you'll be informed of the extent of damage.
You've mentioned about personnel on the ground to help deal with this particular issue. Are there specific mitigations that are geared towards empowering the people who are living in this infested area to personally deal with this locust issue?
Indeed, yes, there is mitigation that the government is looking into. Remember, like I did mention, that this is the second wave. So therefore, the kind of mitigation to help improve the livelihood and the living conditions of those people who are affected is based on the experience from the first wave. During the first wave, certainly there was cash transfers that were given to those that affected, and therefore this second wave will be treated in the manner that the first wave was treated. But like I did mention, it is not so long ago since the second infestation. Assessment indeed is being made to determine, who are the affected persons and the extent to which they can be assisted.
Definitely. And looking at the flip side of the coin, we know the impact of locust can be, actually it is dire on the ground and on the people. Is there a flip side on the coin? We saw some people suggesting that locusts could be consumed, could be packaged and exported. Are these just myths, or is there a flip side on this whole situation?
Indeed, locusts are very nutritious animals, and also may say insects, but however, I do also recall that people have been cautioned not to be able to consume them. I know the question perhaps is suggesting that there are certain communities in this country that look at locusts as a delicacy. But nonetheless, the government has been clear that they should not be looked at in terms of food. But indeed, in terms of whether they can be processed and are canned to be used perhaps in the future as stored food, that is a story for another day. But certainly if we have sufficient manufacturing capability to be able to process the locust, then certainly we can look into that. But right now, that is not necessarily what is happening.
Definitely. I think that is very important to note what are the other opportunities that we can take. And Kano, there's the issue of youth. And we understand that majority of these places that the locust invasion has hit, the youth, it is marginalized. Majority of them marginalized, of course, being opened up by devolution. For the young people, are there opportunities in terms of even in tackling this problem that the young people in those specific regions and communities are getting an opportunity to do something and earn a livelihood?
Thank you very much for that question, and I think that's a very important question because the youth are actually the treasure of any country, and a country that does not perhaps invest in the youth is a country that does not invest in its future. And as a government, this government has been very, very much concerned about the welfare of the youth, the well-being of the youth, the empowerment of the youth. And there have been many, many programs the government has been able to roll out to be able to empower the youth so that they can earn a living. You know, I'm right on top of my head, the one that I can inform you that I know you're quite aware about is the Kazi Mtaani program. This is a program that was initiated or rolled out to be able to help young people that have been adversely affected by the COVID pandemic. Now, this has been able to incorporate or, admit into the program about 260,000 young men and women across the country who are currently earning some livelihood. The other programs also aimed at empowering the youth. One of them is the JIRA program. You may be aware about JIRA Digital. This is an online program where youth are being trained on acquiring skills that can be able to allow them to be able to access opportunities that are online-based opportunities, but they can also use the same platform to be able to sell and market their skills. We already may be aware that there's young men and women who are very, very skilled, but perhaps because of lack of jobs, they cannot be able to find, jobs, yet they are well trained with good skills. So when they get into this JIRA digital program, they are able to market their skills and be able to get jobs. So that is just one of the programs that the government has in place to be able to empower the youth. The other one, of course, is the government has got a 1-year internship program in which young men and women who have been out of university for not more than 5 years are being incorporated into government, where they are mentored, but also trained. Right now, we are in the second cohort, whose term is supposed to come to an end by the end of this month. Thereafter, there'll be a third cohort. So, and every cohort, the government, brings in over 4,000 young men and women. Then you can see, how the government is really concerned about the youth. The third one that I would wish to mention about the Uwezo Fund, that is there again helping the youth who wants to start up, various enterprises. It is also Youth Enterprise Development Fund, again, which is also designed for the youth. So you can see there are many, many programs the government has in place to be able to empower the youth. I can tell you this, that there is no time in the history of this country that young men and women have been given so many opportunities in terms of empowerment, like this government that we currently and this administration has been very, very, concerned about the situation, has been concerned about, the condition of young men and women, and therefore has rolled out several programs to empower them.
Definitely. And maybe going back to the earlier issue, you said something totally different in regards to Kenya-Somalia relations. We have our reporter, and Kano, if you may just stay on the line, our reporter, Brian George Otieno, has something to share with us, an update on this particular issue. Brian, over to you.
Thank you. We have been in a seminar where we were...
Yes, Brian, continue. We can get you.
Okay, so we have been in a meeting with the KEPROBA, which is the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, and they were just giving us an overview of the report of